In this video, I'm going to be going through some warm-ups, some exercises, some drills you can do for MMA. Now, before you start doing any of them, it's always important to do a dynamic warm-up, basically moving your body for its full range. Now, I won't go into too much detail with this because I made a whole video about that. I'll link at the end. But just very quickly, a great tip: if the gym is cold, wear a jumper till you get warm. So the first one we're going through is the boxing reflex ball. Obviously, it's called a reflex ball, so it's good for your reflexes. It's good for timing, reaction. It is probably my least favourite one to do as a warm-up, but as you can see, I'm not that great at it, and you normally gravitate towards things you're slightly better at. I am going to keep on with this one, but like I said, I'm not that great at it. So the next one is skipping. Skipping is obviously good for footwork. It's actually good just as a complete exercise itself, let alone just a warm-up, because you can get a really good workout of a skipping rope, but you can take it lightly, easy, just warming up. So the next one is the grappling dummy. If you're warming up for MMA and you know you're going to be doing a lot of rolling or a lot of wrestling, jiu-jitsu, whatever, if you're doing a lot of groundwork, then really you want to be trying to warm up on a grappling dummy or with a partner, just going through different positions, different scenarios, taking it nice and easy. As you can see, I'm going through different bits. I've done a crucifix, knee on belly. As you can see, I'm now setting up for submissions and other bits. Now, don't worry if you don't have any equipment. I am going to be going through some warm-ups. If your gym lacks equipment, I am going through some different warm-ups you could do with no equipment at all. So, and as you can see now, I'm picking it up and I'm practicing throws. Like I said, try and be a bit specific. If you know you're doing throws in your training, then you might want to warm up, or your coach should warm you up doing throws on a grappling dummy because it's not as heavy and not as awkward as a partner. So I've just shown a different grappling dummy, what you could do warm-ups for. This is more of a jiu-jitsu dummy. The first one was more of a judo dummy. I'll link both these dummies in the description below where you can pick them up, probably from Amazon. Just let you know that any of these equipment, the reflex ball as well and the skipping rope. But again, as you can see, I'm just drilling with it, just going through different motions with it. You do really get a good warm-up from this, so it's definitely a good one if your gym has grappling dummies, to go through the warm-ups with them. So another thing a lot of gyms like to do is what you can see here is you're just travelling down the gym. So I'm just warming up nice and lightly, throwing my kicks. Very similar to what you do for like a dynamic warm-up. It's just going through the motions. So I started off with a round kick. Now I'm going for some knees. So just coming up, stretching up nice and high. Try and remember good technique. Stretching up. And then jogging back round. I often, if I've got a class full of people, would be doing this. So now I'm just going through push kicks. Again, either leg, working on either side. Just good practicing, getting you warmed up, good for your techniques. So what one am I going to do now? Obviously, again, keep it sport specific to what you're doing. So with your MMA, if you're doing striking that day, this is more the sort of thing you want to be doing, warming up for your striking. No point working on a grappling dummy if you're going to more of a striking class. Unless the class is going to be a complete mixed MMA class where you're literally going to be going through everything, maybe MMA sparring, then you want to be doing a little bit of everything, and you want to make sure you're really warmed up, especially before sparring. Make sure you've built up a good sweat. So anyway, as you can see, so I started off with a jab cross. Now I've just walked down, throwing a combination. So now I'm throwing, mixing up my punches with my kicks. So I'm throwing like lead punch and then little combination, then a kick. So just mixing it up every time. Then throwing a switch kick from southpaw stance. That probably felt really awkward. So you're getting the gist of it. Now we're going into the wrestling stage. So just shooting in for single double leg takedown, shooting in and then standing up. Obviously then running back, but I cut that out because you don't need to see that every time. Now I'm just throwing a combination, walking forward with a combination, then sprawling. Walking forward with a combination, then sprawling. Till we get to the end, and then I'll go back round. Now doing a break fall and a technical get up. And again, break fall, and then getting up from the other side as well. That's always really good to important. Try and practice things from both sides. Don't always practice things from one side too much. So obviously you're going to practice it more probably from your stronger side, but especially with grappling, you never know where you're going to end up. With striking, it's a bit more easier to stay in your stance, in your guard you want to be. So now just shrimping. I'm doing double shrimp on either side. I actually learnt that from YouTube. I'm just doing single shrimps now, but I started off doing double shrimps to one side. It's always good to double up on your shrimps. It's a lot more effective. Now I'm just finishing off with by far the best warm-up I think you can do. I try and do at least one round of this with every class I do, or whenever I'm doing any sort of exercise myself before I work out, even if I'm doing weights. Just basically shadow boxing, warming up. Even now I'm doing a little bit of jiu-jitsu stuff, like doing the technical get up, back into striking, sprawling, so you can literally mix it all together. But shadow boxing, like I said, I think it's just by far number one, the best warm-up you can do in my opinion. Obviously there's other stuff you could do. You could do partner drills, you could do warming up on the bag. There's so many different things you can do, but I really rate shadow boxing for warming up. I think it's so beneficial. So anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope you got a few little pointers from it, and I'm going to put the dynamic video at the end of this one. So if you want to know a little dynamic warm-up you should be going through before you do this slightly more intense warm-up, getting you ready